Okay, today I'm going to go through the process of making Glühwein. Now this is not going to be the high-end Glühwein where you do everything from scratch. You have the little pieces of orange peel and what have you, cloves and all of that in it. No, I'm going to kind of cheat. But I'm not going to cheat so much as, well, in German stores you can buy for 99 cents, you can buy a whole bottle of Glühwein. It's kind of this undescribable, indiscernible red wine mixed with something, but it tastes pretty good. So I'm going to go down the middle. I'm going to use Glühfix, and these are things that look like tea bags, and they come from Düsseldorf. At least that's what it says, and that's what the package looks like. And this is what we're going to use. Now, I'm not going to use the most expensive kind of wine that you can possibly think of. What I've done is I've gotten a bottle of kind of nondescript red wine, and that's all it's really called, a blend of premium red wines with a subtle bouquet and a smooth finish. And it comes from Quebec. And I've never known that Quebec was much of a winemaker, but in Rougemont, Quebec, apparently there's a place where they probably buy wine by the casks and start filling bottles with it, and may even call themselves a vintner of some sort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 500 milliliters of red wine, and I'm going to pour that into this pot, and then I'm going to start the fire. Now the trick is not to boil this. That's not what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is just kind of bring it up to temperature, as it were. And for that, I'm going to start my fire. There you go. And now it's going to take a little while for it to start heating up. There, now it's started to come up to temperature. And now's the time that I'm going to put this Glühfix in. And it's Gewürzmischung für Glühwein. They say that one of these bags is good for a bottle. We like ours a little bit stronger, so this is a half bottle, and I'm going to put one bag in. The problem is that here in Canada, we often get this in a state where it's very, very weak. It's lost a lot of its strength. And my daughter, Tatiana, who lives in Switzerland, she can get her hands on this stuff. And so before Christmas, she sends this to us. So this is actually very, very expensive mixture, because by the time you pay for the postage and all of that to get that here, well, it's kind of dear. And so there we have the one bag in with the wine. And the wine looks a little on the thin side, but that's okay. We can fix all of that with dark navy rum in the end. So there we have it getting warmer, starting to warm. Again, you don't want to bring this to a boil. So I'm going to turn this from a medium heat down to a low heat, so that I can watch it just starting to turn over when it's ready to go. There, now you can see that it's getting nice and warm. In the meantime, my wife has handed me the Minions auf Deutsch in German. And there we have a lady minion, at least it's a minion wearing a wig, saying, "Achtet darauf, dass ihr euch, was ihr euch wünscht. Ich habe mir einen aufregenden Mann gewünscht und jetzt regt mich auf." Doesn't translate particularly well into English, but you have to be careful of what you wish for, it says. I asked for, or I wished for, an exciting man. And now he's making me angry. Now, the trick is, of course, in German, that aufregend can mean both exciting and to make you angry. So while I'm going to be rolling around on the floor laughing here, I suspect that most of you who don't speak German, well, you're going to wonder why I'm rolling on the floor. Well, now it's back to the Glühwein. Now, Glühwein has been zieht, it's been pulling in German, or in English I should say, and it's just about ready. And you can see here I've got the little baggie in here, and what I normally do is I don't worry too terribly much about the niceties of hanging it in there, but rather I pull the string off and I just drop the baggie in. And so there we are, kind of ready with the basics of the Glühwein. I'm just going to give it a good stir here. And then what you do is you finish it off with other things as well. And sometimes what you do is you take a piece of orange, or an orange peel, or something like that, and you put it in the cup or on the side of the cup. But I'm going to do something a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make kind of a Feuerzangenbowle. Now, Feuerzangenbowle, that's a different animal, but I'm just going to use the basic Glühwein to demonstrate what that is. Now, I promise I'm not going to lose my eyebrows or eyelashes in doing this, because if you know some German, you know that Feuerzangen is Fire-Tongs. Bowle is, well, that's just a punch. And so I'm going to show you how that is done on an individual basis, because my daughter Tatiana, being kind as she is, last year, not this year but the year before, she was in Köln for the Weihnachtsmarkt, for the Christmas market. And what she did is she picked up some Glühwein, and with that Glühwein was a Feuerzangenbowle cup, Tasse. And on that you can make an individual one. You don't have to make a great big one with a Zuckerhut, but you're going to use part of a Zuckerhut for that. So I'm going to switch over and we're going to show you how to do that individual Feuerzangenbowle. Okay, now I don't know if you can see my St. Pauli shirt. This is my soccer team, the team that I support in St. Pauli, in Hamburg. Now you can see we've jumped ahead a little bit. I've already put my Glühwein into my cup, and now I'm going to show you how the actual Feuerzangenbowle is done. Again, this is not the big pot. They usually have a big pot with a whole Zuckerhut, which is this one here. This one, by the way, this is old. Now I've been told that sugar doesn't go bad. Well, I looked at the price tag on this one, and it's still, I paid for this one in Deutschmark. So this is pre-Euro days that this was purchased. Nearest I can figure, it's about the year 2000 or thereabouts, maybe even a little earlier than that. It's probably exactly 21 years old. I bought this in Dresden, hoping that one day I would make myself a nice Feuerzangenbowle. Up until now I've been getting by with the newer one that I purchased, but I thought, well, maybe I should actually use this one. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, the first thing is you have to get enough sugar, a block of sugar, and usually you can do this with, little sugar cubes. But I'm going to do this with a real Zuckerhut, and I'm going to break some of the top of it off. And that's what you actually use a nutcracker for. You can grab it like this and you break it off. And so you have a nice little piece of sugar. There, you see a nice little piece of sugar. And you end up with a little more sugar here on the counter. With that you can toss in here. And the next thing on this cup, you're probably wondering what this was all about. Well, that is to hold the sugar. And what you then do is you hold this out like so. You put the sugar on top of it. You can hold it like so. And then with one hand, you open up the navy rum. And I would recommend the navy rum, London Dock. This is made from Demerara. And it's 57.1% alcohol, so they call it 100 British proof. It's actually higher proof than that. Now, what you do is you pour a little bit of it on top of the sugar. Oop, well, hey, it's all going in for a good cause. I poured in a little more than I'd hoped for, but oh, it's starting to smell quite nice. And then what you do is you light it. And you probably can't see it there, but it is actually burning. It's the alcohol that's burning, and what it's doing is it's starting to melt the sugar. You can see it starting to bubble away there. And if we turn off the light, we can maybe see it even a little bit better. And there you go. And so now what's happening is it's starting to drip down into this nice caramelized sugar. It's starting to drip down into the Glühwein down below and giving it that extra little bit of something. So it's not just sweet, but rather it's actually got a little bit of that caramel flavor to it. Now, sometimes what you may be tempted to do is to try to relight it. I would recommend that you don't do that too often unless you know absolutely for certain that it's out and I can touch it like this so I know it's out. That means I can add a little bit more alcohol. See, the problem is if you try to pour it on there while it's burning, you're going to have backflash straight into your bottle, and you're basically holding a little Molotov cocktail. So I'm going to pour a little bit more on there, like so. Light it one more time, and off it goes. And there it goes. And now you don't have to hold that up anymore. Rather, you can just drop it right in. Now the trick is to simply enjoy. Now, you've probably seen some of the other things standing here. This is traditionally the kind of cup that we use. If you're going to be outside, this is probably better. This is for the polite company inside the house. But that's hardly any fun at Christmas time. Now, we also have something called bunten Teller, a colorful plate. Now, you have all of the sweets that you normally would get at Christmas time, and I'm maybe going to get into the shot here so that you can see me properly. You're probably wondering about my captain's hat. Helmut Schmidt used to wear something like this, and so do I. I don't know if it suits me, but I happen to love Hamburg, and Schifferhut, that's okay too. Now, so you have the various kinds of cookies, and Sylvia makes these, except for these over here, Domino Steine, domino pieces. And they're very sweet. You have rum balls that she's made, Linzer cookies that she's got. She's got these checkerboard ones. These are with hazelnut and almonds in them. And then sometimes these here have chocolate, and then sometimes they have another kind of chocolate. You've heard of Happy Pizza? They serve that in Vietnam and especially in Cambodia. Well, these would be happy cookies. So this is what we do for Christmas. And so I'm going to say, and Prost. Now that was good. See you next year.